Yeah, I'ma get straight into it. It's your boy Mduduzi, all my kings, all my queens, brothers and sisters. I'm checking in with another video. As you can see by the title, there's never one thing to overcoming your addictions, in my experience, right? So today is Friday, the 11th of July, 2025. The time is about between 4:15 and 4:20 p.m. My watch is 5 minutes ahead. Anyways, let's get right into it. I got this video topic listening to Wes Watson. Check the brother out, man. Even though he swears a lot, you can hear the truth in his message, right? So basically, he was talking about if you've overcome something, share it, right? If you've learned how to make money, share that. And one thing I've overcame is my addictions. So I've had a few major addictions that I'll talk about, and they include weed, lean, alcohol, and I'll just put lastly corn addiction. Yeah, so I want to start by the lean, right? Many of y'all won't be lean sippers, but in my experience, right, I sipped lean a couple times when I was in my teens. I really got into it from ages about 19 until 21, right? Like every day, almost every day sipping. Funny thing about lean is just before I had quit, which is somewhere around 2020, right? Or in 2020, the year 2020. The more I remember the last days of me sipping, the more I was liking it, the more the addiction was just starting to set a flame, if I can put it like that. Like, I was only being like, yo, I'm getting into it only now after, how many years is that? 4, 19, 20, 21. Wait, 19, 20, 21. So 3 years, about 3 years, right? So after 3 years, I was only just getting into it. Funny enough, it reminds me of a video I had watched of a colored brother. He was in one of the prisons in Cape Town, one of the most dangerous in South Africa. It's famous. I just don't know its name off top, right? But yeah, he was saying, right, so he has gotten out and he's like a reformed man, if I can put it like that, a rehabilitated man. But he's got tattoos all over his face, all over his body. Yeah, he was deep in the crime, you feel me? Deep in the leadership of the gangs, if I can put it like that. And he was saying, before he turned his life around in prison, he was just starting to like torturing, abusing, if I can put it into my own words, abusing the new prisoners, right? Even though he had been doing it for some time, his heart was just starting to like it. And that's what I can also describe lean as. Like, even though I sipped so long and so much, I was just really getting into it. But it's never one thing, there has been hints, right? Because I knew when I was drinking lean that I'm not doing what's right, but I didn't care. I wanted to sip, right? I'm a rapper, so it was a big part of the culture at that time. And it's something I wanted to do. I'm sipping on that water, you feel me? So when I look at the times when I had sipped, a few major incidents stand out. Number one, not every time, but there was a certain pharmacy, right, where I bought the lean. This one is in Newtown. And there was this young lady. Now, she was nice. I think that's why it mattered so much. Yellow bone. She was a little bit older, like you could see, maybe 20 something, but under 25, right? Yellow bone, she was nice. But like every time I had pulled up to buy lean, she had this like disgusted look because she was the pharmacist. And they sold, right, to everyone. So, you know, it was one of the spots. So, you know what I'm saying? I had no shame buying, right? But yeah, she had the disgusted look. And I didn't even really care, but you know, it was just like, you're missing out on the man of your dreams, babe. Is how it felt, right? But like, that kind of just, because I've known that for the longest time I felt attractive, right? Like, so when she had that stank face, it made me feel like she's overlooking me and just looking at me drinking or me wanting the still pain or the lean, right? I used to drink, I'll say I, because it was mainly a one-person thing, but I used to drink Salter Pain, Still Pain, and a couple of other leans. Yeah, so she had the stank face, which was like, it is what it is. Fast forward, there was a time I had went to another pharmacy, right? I had a couple pharmacies that I bought from that were like guaranteed. If you pull up, you're getting a bottle or 2 bottles. There's a time I went to go buy lean at this specific pharmacy, and there was a brother in front of me, right? The brother was my age. He looked around my age, was still in college back then. So 20, it must have been 20, right? Because 2020 is when COVID hit, and that's when I had stopped the lean. You know, we're on lockdown. So the year before, I was really going in, right? So it must have been when I was 20. The brother looked exactly the same age as me. He looked 20, right? And he was before me in line. Let me put it like that. So, yeah, the brother, man, to put it in raw words, the brother looked dirty, but not like a street kid dirty. Like, he's not taking care of himself, but he's still accepted in society, right? Dirty. And yeah, like he pulled up, he asked for 2 bottles of Salter Pain. That's what I bought from that pharmacy because they always had it, right? And they allowed us to buy, or I knew I was buying in 2s. People could have been buying more, but like, yeah, he pulled up, he's like, yeah, can I get 2 bottles of Salter Pain? You know, they served him with no questions. But yeah, just the state of the brother. I looked at myself and I was like, this is me, you know what I'm saying? I'm not that dirty, but like, this is me. Like, I'm the brother. It's just like, it didn't look so attractive, right? So yeah, that just kind of stuck out for some reason. There was another time, like, the lengths you go to get or satisfy an addiction, if I can put it like that. There was a time here at home, something had happened. Let me just put it like this. Something had happened where my dad did something to me where I got upset about it because it felt abusive, right? And my mom, being the submissive wife she is, she's just like, oh, I'm sorry. And it just like, I felt like she was weak in the moment. I was like, are you weak? And I felt like my dad, he's like an abuser, right? Looking back at the situation, you know, I can't judge him. It's how he was. It wasn't as intense as I'm putting it, as what you may imagine, because I'm not gonna say what had happened, right? But like, I remember, I think it was a Saturday. This thing happened early in the morning. Right after that, like, I didn't even bath. I went straight to take a taxi to go get the lean. Because at the time I was leaning, I was smoking. So yeah, like, I remember the trip to, obviously, the pharmacy was quite far away from where I stayed. But I remember the trip, and because I hadn't bathed, there were certain women, older women in the taxi just looking at me. No one said anything. But I felt like, damn, I felt dirty. But I was like, you know what, I don't care. And, Oh, shush. Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm greeting one of the brothers, Lucky. You feel me, that I know. But yeah, like I felt dirty in the taxi, right? So that's another situation that stuck out. I was like, damn, I'll go to this lengths to get the lean. But I was like, yeah, like I was about it. I've told 3 situations. The 4th situation, they didn't have the normal lean, right? So normally Still Pain is the most famous here in South Africa. They didn't have that. There's another one that they liked. Or the brothers liked, so I also started drinking it. But it's also famous. It's like Still Pain level. I just forgot its name. But I already said I forgot, so I won't try remember. Yeah, another thing I've been learning is don't say you forgot, because it makes it twice, at least in my mind, right? Now that I'm seeing it, makes it twice as harder. But there's another Still Pain they didn't have. Didn't have Salter Pain. Those are like the top 3, right? So I had bought this other one, like they recommended this other bottle of medicine, if I can put it like that also had codeine, right? It wasn't any of these regular ones. Like I know Benylin, Expectorant, right? Benylin with codeine, Expectorant, Still Pain, Salter Pain, Bronclear. That was the one I said I forgot. Bronclear, right? It wasn't any of these, right? It was some other one. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take it. It's got codeine. Pass it right here. And man, I remember this bottle specifically. What was my routine back then is I'd wake up before going to college. I would leave home, right, really early. I'd go to a specific spot. I'd roll up a blunt. I'd smoke. Then because I used to take taxis to college, so I walked through some like felt, or like some, it's basically like a deserted area. It even has like a lock on it. But I jump, there's a river there. You jump, or there was like a hole back then. I walk through that, then that specific place, because it was like, it's between the highway and like a normal road. So, and there's like a river there. There's like, it's like basically no one comes there, right? So I'd go there because you can smoke freely. Because one of the things about smoking, which I'll get into, is like the fear of the police catching you. Anyways, I had smoked close to my house. Then I had walked to that specific place. I remember I didn't. So what would happen with me is I used to drink lean, and then like I used to have like a bottle of basically the whatever medicine, Still Pain, and I'd pour it into a 2-liter of juice. I liked sipping it with juice before I really quit, right? 2-liter of juice, I pour it inside, and I'd sip it all day, because now I was really the only one sipping, because brothers, they didn't really like they didn't really like lean. It shocked me. I was like, how don't you guys get it? One of the brothers I used to be cool with back then, Martin, like, he's like, I just don't get lean. Like, I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? I remember thinking that, like, man, you missing out, you feel me? And also, I used to run with the brother, Tuso Skywalker, shout out. We used to be big smokers, but, like, he wasn't really into that lean. He'd take a couple sips, but, like, he'd never buy it. So, it was like I was a one-man sipper. So, I would sip, right, a whole 2-liter throughout the day at college, whatever. Then the remaining, I bring it home, right? So let's say, I have a glass of water here, if you guys can see. Let's say maybe there's this much left. I put it in the deep freeze. No, I put it in the normal fridge, right? Then in the morning, I put it in the deep freeze. And then when I'm ready to go, like to walk to college, it's about like, it's almost frozen, but it's not frozen, right? So then I'd sip that. Uh, I'd sip that. Obviously, I'm lighting a new blunt. Then I walk. I finish that off. Then it's time to pour the new lean for the day, right? So yeah, I had taken that medicine they gave me, and I had the 2 liter already. I poured it into the 2 liter, right? So what was crazy is the 2 liter spilled. I think this is how it happened. The 2 liter, while I was pouring it, or I think I was trying to pour into, because I had like a bottle, I remember, that I carried around so I could sip all day. While I was trying to pour, it spilled right on the floor. And this place is like a place basically with sand where I used to smoke up and drink before I catch the taxi to college, so that I get to college out of the moon, you know what I'm saying, on the moon. But yeah, like basically the lean spilled, and there was just a bunch of ants that really was surrounding the lean, basically, you feel me? And like that didn't really hit, but what made it noticeable, like I drank the lean, I was like, nah, this one, something feels off. You could automatically feel that it's like messing up your stomach, if I can put it like that. The way it was just, and normally lean takes hours to kick in, right? Like you sip until you just start, you start moving in slow-mo. Obviously I'm exaggerating it, but like that one, as I started sipping, I could feel, and I know this is not a lean or medicine I should be mixing with. But yeah, like as I poured, mistakenly spilled it, there was a bunch of ants just basically came to stay on the lean. I was like, damn, what am I doing to myself? So that was another occurrence that it stuck with me, so that when it was time to quit, even though these things, they don't hold weight, right? Like, and funny enough, I quit the lean so easily. But like, even though you have bad experiences with an addiction, it doesn't really hold weight as to stop you. It's something you have to conjure up, right? Remind yourself of, and just practice self-control and exercising your will, right? But yeah, like one of the things I remember, another thing is, hey, I remember going into college, I had poured the lean into a Sparletta, I don't know, a specific cold drink that was purple, right? Grape flavor, or you guys should know it. But like, yeah, so it's purple. I poured the lean in. But the only thing that gave it away is the foam was purple. It made the whole 2 liter purple, extra dark, and the foam was like purplish. So you could tell that, nah, this seems like it's been dashed with something. So I remember going into college, there was a security guard, male and female, right? They used to change, but they used to search you. So yeah, I took the 2 liter with, obviously I poured it up, heading into college. I always used to bring the 2 liter, or I always drank in college. I never had problems really. And it's a funny thing, I remember this, Mark the Messenger, he was saying that when the devil wants you to do his will, you won't find hindrances. But it's different when you're trying to do the will of God. Then it's hard to do something. Then, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like, I remember being searched. The 2 liter was in the bag. Now it was a male security that was searching me. He took it out. He's like, this one, yeah, you can tell something's off. I was like, nah. Then he's like, why buy a 2 liter, right? You one man. And I was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what I said I have. is it diabetes? Or I was like, yeah, I need a lot of sugar. He just let me in. I was like, and I just remember that lie thinking, hey, damn, like, I took it so far, which I'll never have in the name of our Lord Jesus. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, last story I think I'm gonna tell is one of the last times I went to, this was Jozi, right? You can get a lot of pharmacies that sell lean in Jozi. Last time I went to Jozi, not the last time, but like one of the last times I went to Jozi to go get the lean. I got it right. It's by the place I bought, it's by a taxi rank. I don't really want you guys to know because I don't want you guys to fall into the habit, like, you feel me? But like, it's by a taxi rank. I got the lean like I always do. Coming back, there was a certain guy, like, they were in numbers, like, I'm exaggerating, but I didn't really see all of them, but you could tell maybe it was like 3 brothers, right? 3 grown-ass brothers. Black, obviously. You know, it's like Jozi, if you know, you know. One of the brothers, he came up to me, he showed me a police badge, and he tried to grab my hand. Then I got so scared, I was like, ah! You know what I'm saying? I just pulled my hand back and I started walking. And that for me was a sign that Duduzi is catching up to you, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew that because he had let me go so easily, obviously he was a fraud, right? That's how they get people, police, search or whatever. But like, just for me, like, I remember that day coming home thinking like it's getting closer and closer. I have to stop. So that's why I say there's never one thing. Like, the last story I'm gonna tell is 2020, right? So I sipped for many years, even though it's just about 3. Another story that I should tell, that I'm just remembering. One of the brothers, shout out Peace wherever he is, right? He was like to me, and I took a liking. I won't lie, let me put this out there. I took a liking to Peace because he was selling cakes and everything, because he was telling us that he was paying his own tuition or he was being funded. But basically, he didn't come from a stable home like that, if I can put it. But like, when it came to rolling, right, the brother rolled the finest blunt. Like, his rolling was out of this world. So I admired that. I ended up admiring the brother, no homo. But yeah, like, I remember I had bought lean this one day, and he was like, you know what, Mtuduzi? You know, he took it was out of like the way he puts the sentence was just respectful. He's like, you know what, you can sip, but just make sure you're not addicted. Like, yeah, you know, do what you want. No one can stop you, but just make sure you're not addicted. And it's funny, he was telling me those words, and I remember I was thinking, you know, I'm already addicted, man. I'm already in. But like, shout out to Peace. Those words, they comforted me, right? Like, even though, like, it was no judgment, but at the same time, it was like a plea to stop. Hey, that was a first I've ever accepted advice, if I can say that, the way he put it. But anyways, 2020 lockdown hits. You know, you're not allowed to come out the house unless you an important member of society. And when I say important, I mean like doctors, you know what I'm saying? Some of the taxi people were still allowed. But yeah, it's like, so it was now the reality hit that, okay, now I can't get lean, right? Like, because I used to sip every day, I used to make sure that maybe like for the week, I have 5 leans, right? Then I'd put them behind my clothes. I don't know if my mom ever checked, but like, something you should do as a parent. And obviously your kid can hold you to it, that you're going through my stuff. But like, I used to line about maybe 4 leans behind my my folded clothes. And yeah, like every day I just collect a lean. Every day collect a lean. Then when I came down to one, I'd buy more, collect. So I was sipping maybe like one day out the week because I didn't have money like that, right? And I got an allowance, but like I was sipping almost every day. 2020 hits. There's a specific day I had no access to the lean, right? And man, like I described this in my first video on this channel, but like it felt like my stomach was so sore, but my stomach was directly linked to the hole from which I pee from, if to put it graphically, right? So it's like the stomach was sore, but what was scarier is this thing can really affect how I pee. Like, if something happens, I'm gonna be in real pain, right? That's what was scariest, right? And like for that whole day without the lean, my stomach was so obviously, like, I knew what it was, but those things kind of woke me up, right? What was crazy is, okay, then I really took it serious. I was like, you know what? I had started reading my Bible that year. You know, that's when I really found the Lord. Then after that day, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna stop lean. Like, you know, there was nothing external. It was just the internal choice. And like, guys, I kid you not, like, I think it felt like more than a month, but like every day, wet dream. And not even like a wet dream where it's pleasureful. You just wake up and the bed is wet, or your sheets basically. I smelt the substance, it didn't smell like, it smelled like, I don't know, like it didn't have a smell, if I can put it like that. Like, I don't want to say it didn't smell like cum, to put it graphically, because I've never smelled like my own cum like that, but it had no smell, right? Like, so it was, but like every day for more than a month, like just waking up, the sheets are wet. So that put me on high alert. I was like, this thing must be, I don't know what I've been doing to my body, but like I have to let this go. And like, I don't know exactly when I had quit lean, but I definitely quit it in 2020. And I've never looked back. It was the easiest thing for me to quit, funny enough. As I was saying, I was just starting to enjoy it. But yeah, praise to the Lord. Like, that's why I say it's never one thing when quitting an addiction, right? This is going to be a long video, but tune in. Let's go onto the alcohol, because alcohol is a very short story. But with the alcohol, I remember my first time getting drunk was with the brothers, right? It was 1818. So this other girl, funny enough, we called her 1818. This girl, she was visiting our complex. You know, our complex, like, we had a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters around us. Like, there was one time where we had gathered by a certain place. We call it the Braai. I could say there was like over 10 of us, you feel me? So like there was that many children. 1818, this one black girl, she came with a bottle of 1818. So at this time, I'm not sure when I started drinking, but I was a teenager, right? She was a little bit older. She was like maybe 17, 18. She came with a bottle of 1818. Girls are actually wild if you think about it. Yeah, but I don't remember her face, nothing about her. I just know she just popped out with a bottle of 1818, and she was just getting to know us, guys. Like, this is someone, yeah, she was just like, maybe like her first day coming to see who what's the vibe? She popped up with a bottle, right? And I remember sipping 1818. And yeah, I remember the feeling. I was just like, damn, like, Chilla was there, you feel me? And I'm gonna put him in. And I remember I was saying to him on some, yo, dog, like, I don't know what I was saying, but he was saying to the others, yeah, he's drunk now, he's drunk. And I couldn't stand that he was talking about me in front of me. And I was like, oh, I hear you. He's like, yeah, he's drunk. But anyways, from that point, and I won't say, like, I don't blame him or 1818 because I take accountability. It was my choice to drink. From that point, I never really drank. But I drank a couple times more, right? As a teenager, there was a certain lady. She loved getting drunk. She opened her house to us. We got lit with her a couple times. Funny enough, I remember the first time getting drunk, I was like, I got liquid courage. I was like, where the girls at? You know what I'm saying? Where them sisters at? Like, I'm ready to talk to them. Then I understood, oh, that's why they call it liquid courage. Yeah, but just alcohol gave me bravery, right? I won't lie. Like, there was a time, this is TMI, but I got drunk, still back in the early phases, and like, I just wanted to take a dump, you know what I'm saying? And I knew I couldn't go home because I had left home to drink, right? Still young back then. So I was like, I can even go take a dump out in public. Like, the way I didn't even care because of the feeling of alcohol. I continued drinking, and it got to a point where I was over 18. I used to go buy, right, a small bottle of Gordon's or an 1818, a small bottle. Then I dash it in like a Bonaqua 500 milliliter. I used to get thrown, I used to get wet. I was manzy. You know what I'm saying? And I remember thinking, one of the times I had, started drinking, right? I took a walk. There's 2 alcohol places near me. I went to go buy. Then I remember thinking, like, I want to feel like this for the rest of my life. That's how good alcohol felt to me at the time. And I was one of those people that drank alone, right? Like, funny enough, back in high school, I had stolen, me and one of my brothers, we had stolen cookies. The situation goes like this. There was a certain guy, Benji, right? He used to give us cookies. But on a certain day, he wasn't in class, but his bag was there. So then we're like, let's go get cookies. Benji's not there. Like, now we'll just take them. We'll tell him that we took them. So we opened his, now thinking back at it, it makes sense why he told. We opened his lunchbox. You know what I'm saying? He mostly carried cookies. We devoured them. And yeah, like, before you know it, yeah, Benji, he was out there, he was mad. He's like, yeah, they stole my lunch. We got kind of like a not a disciplinary hearing, but like a program where we had to clean up the school. And they were also teaching us about addictions. And I was out there just feeling like, I didn't even do something that bad, you feel me? Back at that time, I was like sober as a teen, right? So I was like, why am I hearing about addictions? They were teaching us about addictions. But what I remember is one of the last levels, they gave us like a worksheet describing the different phases of addiction. One of the last phases is you do it alone. It consumes most of your time. Long story short, right? So with alcohol, I quickly went to that phase where brothers around me, I want to call them, in worldly terms, I want to call them pussies, right? But like, they just never been into it like I have been. But shout out the brother Bwaga. know what I'm saying? Even though we're not cool like that, I remember him saying, it's like, Duduzi, you an extremist. You either go all in or all out. And yeah, that's basically me, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm in it, I'm in it. So, I used to drink alone most of the time. I remember saying, this is how I want to feel for the rest of my life. What led me to stop drinking alcohol is, where I had bought alcohol, you know, I got the same thing that I used to get with the lean. There was certain brother who used to obviously sell. Like, he used to just give me a stank face, like, I'm throwing my future away type of face. You feel what I'm saying? So, that was like, man, what's his problem? Like, I really didn't care. Someone, even now, like, it's easy for me not to care, you feel me? But like, yeah, it just stuck with me. I was like, man, he always used to do it. I always used to have the same mindset on like, nah, I don't care, you know what I'm saying? One time I was riding, you know, I got drunk. Yeah, this was like after my father's death, right? I got drunk, rode my bicycle all the way to a mall. It was quite far. You know, obviously, when you're drunk, you know, you don't feel it. I remember at that time I was suicidal in a way, like, because it's been hard for me to go past that point. I always just thought about it. But yeah, like, I remember me driving there, almost getting bumped, right? Like, because I was out of it, right? But yeah, like, one of the things I didn't like is, out of all my experiences with alcohol, there was one time I had blacked out, right? So that I didn't like, you know, people went out, I went out with the homie, I blacked out, we were drinking Sky vodka that day. So I blacked out and he was telling me how I was basically. And I was just like, nah, that ain't me. But I just don't like that I blacked out. You know, I was really into the alcohol, but then, long story short, before, yeah, I remember a time I had started, this was 2022 if I'm not wrong. I started a sales job. This job was commission only. And before I quit like in the after the 4th day. This girl I was with, right, I was running with her basically. We in the job together. She put me in an uncomfortable situation, and I told her, don't put me in this situation. I wasn't ready, right? Like, first job ever. She made me go. She was like, she's gonna make me, and I'm still learning the job. She was like, you're gonna sell to this person. I'm like, I'm not ready. She's like, don't worry, I've got it. When we go up to that person, she's like, yeah, my colleague here, he would like to ask you something. So I ended up doing the pitch, but like, such an uncomfortable position. I was like, what the hell? You threw me under the bus. She's like, that's what happened to her. You know, also, like, I only have a bad experience of her, but I don't blame her, you know what I'm saying? I decided to quit. I was like, man, F this. We're out in the field, you feel me? This time we're in like Alberton. I stay in Johannesburg. We're in Alberton. I quit. She's like, okay, cool. Do your thing. Yeah, I quit. I went, I bought some alcohol. I still had money, right? Because they've always given me an allowance, especially because I was starting the job. There's no pay, you know, there's different trips we have to make. Yeah, I remember I went, I got drunk. I was sad that, you know, an opportunity, I just threw it away. Then I was in the taxi with some old guy. He's just looking at me like with the, you know, stank face. He didn't say anything, but like, I was just like, I don't care. But that stood out. But like, one of the things is, a lot of times when I was drinking, I felt guilty, right? And with me, I used to drink, if I remember this correctly, because of a bad experience. So I didn't like that. Like, I was basically, to put into my own words, I was running to the alcohol, right? Every time, not every time something bad happened, but like, I'd feel weak. I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna go drink. And I'd go drink. And, you know, there was always, because I live at home, there was always that, there's the fear of, you know, they don't know I drink. So I don't want to let them know I drink. I'm always hiding. Yeah, and like, I don't want them to notice. So, you know what I'm saying? You have to go drink, then you maybe eat chewing gum or whatever to just try take away the smell so they don't kick you out, basically. There was one time, before I tell this other story I want to tell, there was one time I was meeting up with the brother Tuso in Brom. You know what I'm saying? I had bought the lean, bought some alcohol, there was weed. You know what I'm saying? We smoked one, I was already leaning, we poured up the alcohol. And that was the first time I think I was really doing that combination, right? And I remember, firstly, you know, like when you do something dangerous for me, like obviously indicators in your mind go off that, okay, what you're doing is dangerous. Like, I remember the first time I drank 2 bottles of Still Pain. Because, you know, in music, there's a lot of influence, right? Let me also say this. Why I say it's never one thing, because it's different things you have to cut off to be free from your addiction. One of them that really helped me is the music I listened to. A lot of music I listened to was trap music. And the artists there, non-specific, but like a couple of the brothers were pouring 8s. And from what I understood, a 4 is a bottle of lean. And 8 is 2, you know what I'm saying, 2 bottles. So there was another homie of mine, Small. He was deep into the culture, right? He was younger, but he really, he dived deep into it. Like, even now, like, I'm someone who's sober. The last time I saw him, he was talking about, I be popping perks. He's still in it, like, he's in a bad space. Like, he's someone that never made it out, if I can put it like that. He looks at us like sellouts because we stopped. Which I don't blame him. That's the culture, you know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, so he was always obsessed with, you know, yo, these brothers, they pour an 8, man. Like, yo, we sleeping. So with me, I was like, it's time. You know, that day I was also feeling depressed. I poured an 8. So that's 2 Still Pains. Man, that lean was so strong. Guys, I didn't even sip it all, but I was like, yeah, like I felt my heart beating, could have died, you know, but by the grace of God. But yeah, like, I always knew when I was doing something wrong, right? So then, with alcohol, yeah, I remember I was leaned up, I had the lean with me, smoking weed, right? We poured up the alcohol. I think on my second cup, I took the alcohol to pour, because we had dashed it in like a Sprite. I was pouring for myself. I'm telling you, my grip was firm on the cup. Next thing, you know what I'm saying, it fell. Luckily, it was a plastic cup. Yeah, but then the brother was like, yo, now you too gone. And what scared me the most is not that I didn't feel like, damn, I'm like high or, right? Because I was used to it. But like, it was the fact that I felt like I was in control, but I wasn't, right? The way it just slipped, it was like, I had I don't know, like, it was just weird. So I was like, that's one of the things. But I remember the last time I got drunk, because I have a list, right? The last time I drank was the 10th of June, 2023. And yeah, like, I remember I went to the park. This time, I don't know what I don't know what was the situation. But like, I remember I went there, I drank, I was like, the same combination, bought like a Gordon's. I was drinking alone, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, like, I'm disgusted by myself. This is the last time, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was like, this is the last time. And that has been the last time I stopped drinking alcohol. It might not be as easy for you guys, but like, there was a whole bunch of things. That's why I say it's never one thing. Obviously, people talk bad about alcohol. It's the pressures of coming home and being drunk. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, I made that decision, right? Lean, I don't remember when I stopped alcohol was the 10th of June. I was just like, this is the last day. And I'm proud to say it's been 2 years now, right? June was last month, second year sober. And one of the things with alcohol, they say you have to hate your addiction, right? After I had quit, looking back at the experience, I started developing hate for alcohol. Firstly, I hate how it made me feel, right? One thing that I didn't like about the alcohol before I quit, yes, I felt nice, right? Like in the beginning stages. But like close to before I quit, every time like the withdrawal felt like I was sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that thing was disgusting. So that's one of the things that looking back is like, I hate how alcohol makes you feel, right? Yeah, in the moment it's all good, but like couple hours into it, another thing is such a time waster. Like, that's why I'll never go back. It's like, what a waste of time. Another thing, another incident, I was at my sister's house, Christmas Day 2020, right? Christmas Day 2020. My sister had wine. She drinks, right? No judgment. Even though, like, funny enough, like, let me just talk about this. My sister, I'd say a big drinker, right? And like, I won't even lie, like, now I can't help it. Every time I see her drunk, it just feels like there's like a hatred to her for giving in. Like, I don't know, I just feel like that. I don't judge her because I've been through it, but it's like you can do better, man. Like, life is great without the alcohol, you feel me? But like, yeah, 2020 Christmas Day, she had poured me wine, like, from that 5-liter Namakwa, you feel me? So I had a glass like this. I'm sipping. When I look, or when I pick the glass back up again, it has like a fly. And that time, the alcohol, it had ran out. It didn't run out, but like there was not a lot of alcohol. So like, this was like my only cup. You know what I'm saying? So I remember my niece, she was like, that's like a fly. Then, you know, I took the fly out. Then she's like, you're still drinking the drink. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am, because it was like I knew that it was like one of the last glasses of alcohol. So that also, looking back at that experience, my niece was about 5'4", but like, it's like the lengths you go, right? Then over time, like now that it's been 2 years, there's just this hate for alcohol. It's such a time waster. You can black out. Like, yeah, but mainly the time wasters, like the waste of money. There was a cousin of mine. We were hosting like a ceremony, you feel me? So he came to visit. And yeah, like I took them to go buy alcohol. He's someone who drinks. He had a newborn child. And yeah, he had like spent like 700 at the bottle store, right? And he was just telling me, he's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I didn't mean to spend so much. I didn't mean to drink, but like, we added, you know, like, it's, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for me, it was like, such a stupid decision, you know what I'm saying? So, but like, yeah, it's like, this is what alcohol is. I see like how people run to it. Like, it's definite. Funny enough, I was, obviously I found the Lord in 2020. Years after, right, I went to Rema Church. I wasn't like a regular attendee, but I used to frequent, and they were hosting some event. I think it was there when the event had finished, we went to like a garage that was close by. Then there was this like other shopping center type of things, a small shopping center. There's a bottle store in there. There was another brother. He was using crutches. He was walking like a spider. And this was around the time where I was learning. There was a big thing of, spirits, especially on Emmanuel TV, if you guys know it. Spirits being cast out of different people. And there were animals, even though you could say it's fake, right? Which now looking back at it, I don't entirely believe. But like, yeah, that brother was walking like a spider, walking into the alcohol shop. I was just like, damn, like, this alcohol is really bringing spirits and holding brothers back, Yeah, so there's been a lot of things, a lot of experiences, especially now, like, that I'm a believer, right? The Bible does say, live sober. Man, shout out to BP. He's someone that's only just took down on alcohol. Funny enough, I feel the same way, right? So when we're together, it's like, why are you guys still drinking as Christians? And I remember certain girl, I'll just say this, certain girl, she's a believer. We had went to kind of like a dinner. It was me, BP, and her. And with her, she was just explaining that, like, she doesn't seek the drink, but like she doesn't mind having a glass. Or she's not like fully sober. She wasn't fully sober at the time. And like me and BP just came down hard on her. Like, nah, you shouldn't be drinking. This is what the Bible says. Be sober, be vigilant. You know what I'm saying? Even though we didn't mean to be judgmental, I left there thinking like, nah, like, I can't touch alcohol again, you know what I'm saying? Especially the Bible being clear that be sober and vigilant. And even like I used to always think that, 5% alcohol, a brutal fruit or a cider isn't that bad. But I was like, having 5% means you're not totally sober. So, yeah, from now, I'm never going back. Like, the only way I can really taste alcohol again, I don't know, like, I don't want to box myself in. I was about to say, like, maybe if I think someone's drinking water, then I taste it's alcohol. But, like, as far as for me, I'm never drinking again. It's just, I feel like it's useless, waste of time. Following, or Brandon Carter, he was saying, research now says there's no amount of alcohol that's good for your body. So it's just like, for me, it's like it's a waste, you know what I'm saying, money wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, a lot of girls still drink, and I get that you can drink to create a vibe, but like, if you're not sleeping around, it's like, man, F that. But yeah, so a lot of things have led me now to never drink again. But that was basically just how it happened, right? And we're on 54 minutes, but like, I don't want to end this video without talking about the weed. I did say corn. I think I'm just going to touch on that. But like, yeah, with the weed, oh man, like, weed was the hardest to quit. Like, one thing I'll say is, as long as you keep trying, oh man, weed was such a journey to quit, man. Especially because I'm a rapper, right? And one thing about weed is, when I smoked, it's like I understand why it's like a world, right, that you enter into. And this world is nice, but like I see, it takes you away from reality. Funny story with me is the first times I tried weed, it didn't work. I was like, what the hell? Such a ugly taste. Then I remember one time I really tried it. They were like smoke, so I really smoked. It was like a stage, the end. I really smoked. And then it finally kicked in. I was high. And then from there, it was basically my choice. It's like, everything's been my choice, right? It's all my fault. But yeah, it's like, there's different levels you go through with the weed. You go from, hey, I want to smoke. This is a nice feeling. I'll do it maybe once a month. Then you're like, once a week. Then you're like, why not do it every day? Why not couple times a day? Then I remember one of the brothers, Chiller, he was saying, you go from wanting to be the person who smokes the most until you're that guy and you smoke the most. And this is what I went through also in high school. Like, I wanted to be seen that, what, I'm Duduzi, he smokes. Until you're just that person, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? But like, a lot of experiences came through weed. Like, I'm a rapper. A lot of music opened up. I saw a lot of things like album arts. They were defined more to me. Like, I remember a specific album art, Monewa, coming from Going To. If you look at that album art, sober, I had looked at it and it just seemed normal. But I remember looking at it when I was high, right? And like, it just made so much sense. It's like, if you guys look at the album art, because the album is named Coming From Going To, right? The coming from part, it's like pictures of where she was. Then going to, it's like in a puzzle. Then going to is like, you see her, she's got like a crown, you feel me? Her laughing or smiling, so she's coming from this type of person, she's going to this person. Just the clarity of everything, I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? A few experiences stand out with weed. It was that there was a time, I won't expose, even though I've exposed a lot of names, I was at this guy's house, right? And I had smoked. These were the times I was still trying to stop. Before I had finally quit weed, I was stopping. I was one of those. They're always laughing at me like, he stopped, he's gonna come back. And I came back. He stopped again, he's gonna come back. There was a time we're at this certain person's house, we're listening to Mac Miller, and the song was Jet Fuel, right? And the lyrics really, this time he had passed on. So when I was really listening to him, it was so, like I could never describe it 100% accurate, but what I got how he felt when he was still here on earth. I got the level he was at in his career with the money he had earned. Because the lyrics go, I don't say nothing that I don't know, jumping out the womb wearing polo. Everybody want to jump in like the longs to go, we'll take them off solo. Yeah, I don't need nobody. I don't need to be nobody. I'm just doing my thing, kicking at the crib. I don't see nobody now. So off going with that new. Please don't bring it on this side. I'm pulling up in that new whip. You always whipping that dick, right? I demand your respect. Yeah, and I specifically remember this part, like, just get this clear. I got here. I don't really care who's next. Goddamn. Feeling like they forget. I let it slide. This time, like 25 years, I've been high and no less. Just that part, right? Like, it made me understand, like, who he was. I basically felt him like I felt, like I've been at a point where like I was in it to where it's just like you in it, right? Like, so it's like 25 years I've been high, no less. Yes. Like, guys, he was on another level. Like, I understand why. I don't understand, but like I get like why he OD'd. Like, basically the emotion that was coming through from that song, I understood. Like he had so much money. Like, he was just at a point in life where it's like, he talked about being by himself at the crib. He don't see nobody. It's just like like that really opened my eyes. I was like, damn, like brothers are on another level. Man, another situation, right? I had stopped drinking weed. What am I saying? I'm looking at the specific lady, so I'm messing up my words. I had stopped smoking for about 2 weeks. Then, I was really feeling the urge. And this was back in college, right? The time I was leaning. Then I was telling you guys about that passage where I could smoke freely, drink freely. I went and I bought weed at school. Then I smoked it before I got home, right? So I stopped by that passage and smoked it before coming home. And the way I got so high, I listened to Game's 92 bars. Like, these are moments that will forever stick with me. And just experiencing the level of skill in his raps. Like, firstly, the beat. It's that sick rap, kick back, come to where I pitch at, whip his love game like Tyson back to six pack, presidential rolling nigga, where your wrist at. The way, and I had headphones at the time, right? So I smoked, my heart was beating, I got really high. Listening to that song, right, 92 bars, it just showed me, I was like, damn, this brother is... It's like you don't realize that's one thing that made it hard to quit weed. You don't realize the world around you when you're sober. Or like, it enhances things so much. You see them from a different perspective, right? So I had never listened to that song before, but like just listening to it, I was like, damn, like this brother is so good at what he does. I mean, like, I was in awe, like just listening to him rap. And there's a part where he says, yeah, another classic, do it in the way the aftermath will do it. It was just like, man, like hands down, this brother, he's on another level, right? But yeah, it's like that was such a revelation. And also one of the things, I was listening to Teko's, one of his songs from his album. I don't know what the album is called, but like the album cover is him shirtless, right? He's got a crocodile. The singer Teko, the guy, right? He's got a crocodile here on his chest. Then he's got, it's like what it looked like for me is crocodile had his heart, right? Like it had his heart. Then he's got like, it looks like this, but like pinkies have got long nails right here. They're here on his, what can I say? Shoulder, right? They're pointing up to the tattoo he has on his neck, which says pray. And that for me was like, I started praying right then because I was like, damn, this is so demonic. I was like, damn. That was like the energy, plus you should just see the album cover, right? Energy was so dark. I was like, yeah, and the crocodile, it has a crown on its head, right? That's sitting here in the middle of his chest. I was like, just that's so demonic. And with the hands pointing to prayer, I started praying then. So that's one of the things about readers, like, yo, I don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I don't want to be here in this world, right? Or this cloud nine, right? It's just, it's not a nice, it's not a good place to be in because you're so vulnerable. Another experience, since I said you're so vulnerable, I went to the place, it's Emerentia Dam, right? It's like a park, botanical gardens. And I smoked. And this is the time, like, I had stopped for quite some time, then I smoked again. Man, like, what I experienced was I was listening to Lucky Dube's song, Shembe. The way my heart was beating, I was just so scared. I was like, that's what I truly saw. I was like, you're so vulnerable, like, when you're high. And this is after years of smoking and really trying to stop, right? That's also contributed to making me stop. Another experience. Yeah, so I'm just going where my mind's going. I used to buy from this guy. I'll call him P. I used to buy from P, right? P was at the side of the road. You know, out of nowhere now I wanna. Okay, but anyways, I used to buy from P. So with P, I was still a young guy, you know, I was given an allowance. So obviously, yeah, like at my where I stay, we good, right? You know, I bless the Lord. We stable. We're never rich, but we have money. So I remember one of the times I used to ride my bike to P. I'd buy like maybe 250 rand bankies or and ride a bike back home. I remember pulling up to P and he was like, you know what I'm saying, hey, P, was it when I was leaving or yeah, it was when I was leaving. So I pulled up, I bought, you know what I'm saying, he sold good weed, no cap. I bought I was scared of the police at that time, so I'd put it like in my pocket. Then, you know, I would ride my bicycle fast back home so I don't get searched. When I was leaving, one of the things Peace said is like, hey, this boy has got money. So I was like, that made me think. I was like, what am I doing actually? Am I really wasting my money? Or the money I've been blessed with, you know, that they're giving me on weed, you know what I'm saying? There's another experience where another dealer, I'll call him Q, right? With Q, first time going to him, he gave me one of like the best packs of weed I received. I was like, Phew. And this time I had applied the same method. So with drinking lean, right? Before I found all the stores I bought, I was just like, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna let uh my mind lead me to where I can buy lean. And I just went to different stores. I ended up finding stores that I could buy. I tried the same method with weed and I just stopped at a random guy in Jersey. I was like, yeah, I'm looking for some weed. He's like, I got you. He sold me the bomb of weed. When I had went back, like he gave me something, and this time, like, because it's such an open place, it's when you're doing the deal, it's like you have to be vigilant. You just take the weed, you give him the money, you go. The second time around, I gave him money, he gave me the weed. I just, packaged it. I went, I'm about to catch the taxi, I'm like, let me look at this weed. Sticks, it's just like some bad weed, you rip me off. So I was just like, man, this brother, man. I still went back to Q. I was like, what the hell, this weed? Not that same day, right? Another time, I was like, you gave me basically crap weed, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Nah, I gave you good stuff, L guy Q, someone I still have a negative experience of. I don't hate him because I played myself. But yeah, it's like he was a scammer, if I can put it like that. But yeah, like with Q, one of the last times I went back to Q, I gave him like 20 rand, and he gave me such a small bag. And I've heard that people buy 5 rand bags, right, in Jersey. So he gave me such a small banky. I was like, damn, he just ripped me off. He sold me a 5 rand banky because I'm scared. You know, like, because it was such an open place, I'm scared of the police. He was able to rip me off. He sees me as a fool. So that's one of the things that also contributed to me stopping weed, right? But yeah, to take it back to another experience, weed, there's been a lot of good times and bad. That's why it was also hard. Even now, like, I can't talk down on weed. Yes, overall, I think weed is bad, don't get me wrong. But like, the experiences I've had really opened my eyes to certain things. Another experience that I'm thinking of, as I said, that no cap, I was watching the corn sites and I was high. And this other girl, you know, she was shaking her ass, a booty. Like, she was shaking her booty. One of the videos I was watching, she was twerking. She had a tattoo at the back of her. She's like, and it said, just under her ass, on her thighs, right? On the thigh part, it said, inhale the teacher. Inhale the teacher, live the lesson. Something like that. So that, and I was watching it when I was high. So it was like, okay, this is teaching me that, okay, I shouldn't be watching this stuff. I shouldn't be here. Yeah, like, even Korn was telling me to stop. I was like, what's going on? But like, you feel me? It's like, okay, I remember that experience. I remember getting high and listening to Travis Scott. The song was, I don't know, something West featuring Young Thug, right? Becky out west, shining out west. But like, I remember Travis Scott's part. We absolute, yeah. But and I think the surprise that I lived is lit. And just that part, they surprised that, like, for me, what it portrayed was like he got so high, people are surprised like that he's still alive. And I was like, oh, I'm really like, you're dancing with the devil here, you feel me? Yeah, that's a part I remember. I remember listening to Jeezy, right? And these experiences, even though like they told me to stop, they're also like keeping me on, because I felt like, damn, I'm gaining so much knowledge. And it's funny enough, Mark the Messenger, he was like, you know, with these things, it's never 100% truth. Like, they give you a little bit of truth, but then the whole experience is like bad. Like, it's bad for you, but it gives you a little bit of truth. And that's what I've seen with weed. I remember listening to Jeezy's Seen It All featuring Jay-Z. And I remember hearing Jeezy's like, if you've been where I've been, make it hard to fail. And his ad-libs are like, yeah, cause I'm the realest niggas in this. Y'all know it. Wait, what do you say? If you've been where I've been, make it hard to fail, cause I'm the realest nigga in this. Some pulling up in the 745. But yeah, it's just like, it showed me like, there's like a different world when you're on weed, cloud 9, right? And this world, it's like, it's not the real world. It's so real. I understood one of the things smoking weed, I understood why a lot of people who do music smoke weed. And I always felt like I'm going to be at such a disadvantage if I stop smoking, because they literally have an upper hand. That's how I feel, you feel me? But yeah, it's like this own world. It's like music slows down. You really hear the message. It's crazy, right? It's hard to stop. And also, one of the things with weed, you get bored without it. I'm so thankful that I stopped, you know. One of the things looking back is I remember when I'd smoke daily, couple times a day. When I didn't have weed though, like, oh man, like, it was so boring. You'd go, you know, because I live in a complex surrounded by brothers. You'd be like, who has? No one has a blunt. It's like you just don't know what to do with yourself. And I feel like brothers are still at that point where they're still smoking every day and they can't go without it because they haven't filled their day with daily tasks. And this is what I also wanted to touch on. It's like why it's never one thing stopping your addictions is because you need different things that will fill your day because you are left with so much time. It's crazy. It is wild. It's like the more you eliminate what you're not supposed to do, you'll see that you really have all the time to be successful. You really have all the time to lock in, but it's up to you to lock in, right? So yeah, like you'd get so bored. I remember a specific instance, like I had pulled up to the park, which is like no to the Braai, which is where we used to smoke, right? I had a blunt with me. Before I had smoked, I was like, damn, like it's so boring. Right after I had smoked, like all of that just went away. It was like now I was in this cloud nine basically, but this whole new world. It's like weed is something else. Like, yeah, there's many experiences that you'll go through. There's many things you'll see on weed. Like the countless. Like I've been smoking for years, so or I had smoked for years, so countless things I can't even recall. But yeah, also the weed politics, it's a factor. Like once you start smoking with people, people start hiding their weed, then they want to smoke from you. They don't want to provide. Weed politics is a real thing that now like I won't go back. It's, you know, it's the dealers ripping you off. Yeah, well, like the lengths I would go to smoke weed for me, right? Because at home they didn't know I smoked. I'm still living at home right now. I'm 26, right? So I always knew that like if they found out I can get kicked out. I always felt like I really didn't have somewhere to go. So it's like I used to go to the utmost lengths to hide. Plus at that time I'm doing weed, lean. You know, like I really became more of like a lean drinker. Like I really didn't like alcohol because also in the culture it was only lean, no alcohol. So that also kind of made it easier to stop alcohol. But yeah, it's like the lengths I would go not to be caught. I'd always have to have spray with me. Something to chew on, right? Eye drops. Like I want to talk about the eye drops. It's like it's crazy to think about it. All those years I was putting eye drops when I didn't need them, right? To make my eyes white. And like there's a certain homie, I still feel bad for him. Like it's 2025, I saw him popping eye drops. And like I know he's been like I could probably say now it's the 10th year smoking. And I definitely know even the first time you smoke, you're definitely gonna put eye drops. So if you're still doing it now, it's like my thought is like, what damage are you doing to your eyes? Like, just to cover up, just to not be seen, right? Like, you know, you can't smoke in front of kids. So it's always a thing of hiding. I had to hide from my family members. Like, where I stay, there's laundries, right? Like, I used to go in, be silent, smoke the weed, make sure I'm not seen. Like, the lengths I went to just to smoke, guys. The time it took from me, like, the lean is something I can really look back, like, the time it took from me. Like, I was asleep most of the time, but, like, the time the weed took from me just to roll a blunt, you know, it was never enough. It will never be enough. Like, same thing I'm seeing with the corn. Like, you just have to stop because it's never enough. I specifically remember right? But this ties in with the corn. I had went to an Airbnb, and one of the main reasons, I won't even lie, I'm gonna put it straight up, is I was like, at home, I live with my family. There was never peace watching corn, right? This was in 2022. So I was like, I'm gonna go to this Airbnb. I'm alone. So I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna rub one out. I'm just gonna be free, right? I had smoked. Yeah, like at time. Yeah, I just smoked. Guys, it wasn't enough. Like, wait, let me let out this. Okay, it's like a mosquito. You feel me? Matter of fact, yes, but yeah, it's never enough. Like, I remember, yeah, I went to that Airbnb. I did what I did. It's just only now, like today, it's the 26th day by the grace of God that I am no corn, no touching myself. But like that moment, I remember making this promise to myself that after this, like, you'll be enough. It was never enough. It's crazy. It's like with weed, it's never enough.